Welcome to another episode of DWeb Decoded. My name is Danielle Dubervac of the Filecoin Foundation, and I'm thrilled to be joined here today with Frank Mong. He is COO of Nova Labs, the company behind Helium Network, a decentralized wireless network. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Danielle.
So I'd like to get started and just hear about the evolution of Helium. There have been pivots and additions along the way. If you could sort of start from the beginning and then end up with where we are here today.
Sure. Helium was originally founded in 2012, and the co-founders were Sean Fanning, he's of Napster fame, and Amir Halim, a former esports champion, and Sean Carey. So the three of them started the company quite a while ago. It's 12 years ago now. I think this might be like 12 years today, actually, our anniversary.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's surprising. I'm so happy to be here. The team was really focused on IoT wireless technology. I think the inspiration of that group starting the company was really to try to track drones in the air, and people were losing drones at the time in the early days of drone technology. And so I think Sean Fanning and Amir thought, oh, we could figure out ways to track that for people. And when it flies too far away, you're able to go and retrieve it. So that was the original sort of concept here. What led to a really large, massive global network was the fact that they realized it's actually a lot harder to connect things to the internet back in 2012. And when I say hard, I mean there was battery considerations and connection range, but these are really nerdy, like wireless geeks looking at this stuff. I joined the company about 8 years ago in 2017, and at that point, the company had pivoted many times, as you noted, in different areas of Internet of Things technologies and wireless technologies, but nothing really stuck. And so in that moment, and this will be interesting for entrepreneurs and founders, we were running out of money. I think I joined, we had about a year of runway left, and we had to figure it out. It was sort of our last shot at this. We're very fortunate, and this is where luck comes in many times. Bitcoin and Ethereum became like a household word because CNN and CNBC started talking about it, about this thing called Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it was sort of going into this mainstream. And being networking and wireless people, we weren't really paying attention. We were kind of paying attention, but not really. We were like, oh, that's interesting. What if we could put Bitcoin mining into wireless hotspots? Would people, individually just share their internet in order to earn, Bitcoin? And so Amir went down this rat hole of trying to figure out, blockchain technology and who was doing what. And he came across this white paper by Protocol Labs, and I think Juan wrote the thing with a bunch of folks. And he was really inspired by Filecoin, the idea that you could share storage over the internet anonymously and provide like this service. Really using crypto as the incentive was like super novel. And he thought, oh, and Filecoin, I think, had his own L1. They wrote their own chain. And so that really inspired Amir and our dev team of like 5 people at the time to say, oh, maybe we should just write our own kind of proof of work L1, the Helium blockchain, where we use proof of coverage. And that's really how we kicked off. And in 2019, we launched. We were lucky enough to raise a Series C, a small amount of money, just to build the initial, I think 15,000 hotspots or whatever it was. And we were very surprised and fortunate that grew to 1 million within a year and a half.
Wow. And
that's how the Helium Network really started, was servicing Internet of Things devices, and that global network during the pandemic just went berserk. Now that led us to think about different problems, and kind of leads us to where we are today, which is taking that same incentive model, whether it's Helium or Filecoin, but instead of sharing internet access for devices and things, what if we could treat the telco industry in a different way? What if we could use a crypto model to incentivize different behaviors, sharing the internet to smartphones instead of just things and machines? Maybe people can use it too.
Yeah.
So that's where we are now.
That's great. And what with Helium Mobile, there have been some interesting partnerships, and I know there's been a lot of adoption. Give me some quick stats and paint the picture of where Helium Mobile is at today.
Sure. So Helium Mobile is the phone plan that we sell in the United States.
Okay.
And the Helium Mobile phone plan is, it's an interesting hybrid model where it uses the Helium Network as well as T-Mobile's network. So we established a partnership with T-Mobile so that when you're driving from home to work or going about your daily routine, you're able to use the internet for maps and for listening to Spotify, whatever. That requires what we call a macro network. So you've got to have connectivity everywhere while you're moving fast in the car. So that's where T-Mobile comes in for us. So we partner with them so we can basically buy access to their network. But when you're like stationary in a coffee shop or a bar at a venue like this, ideally there's a Helium compatible hotspot or a Helium hotspot here, and your phone should just automatically use that instead because it's just cheaper data. And the person that runs that network here would earn Helium HNT, the token for sharing their internet access. So that's how the economics work between a cell tower versus what we call like an indoor cell tower that's powered by Helium, and the user of Helium Mobile can then automatically switch. You don't actually have to make a decision, it will do it for you. And so we've been doing this now for a little over a year, I would say. And during that time, we tested a lot with pricing and different data plans. We're not consumer cell phone people. That's not the world we come from.
Right.
We have an idea of how to market to consumers, but it's not like something we specialize in for decades like other companies. So we had to figure out how to actually talk to people that need a phone service or are interested in switching phone services. And we started with our crypto audience, the Helium community, the Solana community, the larger DePIN community, like folks with Filecoin and so forth. And over that period of time, what we learned is people think of your cell phone plan as just a utility. Like you have a phone plan, you probably don't really think about it. And a lot of times, shockingly, people are on their family plan, their parents' plan. And it's okay, you don't have to be ashamed. People in their 30s and 40s are still on their parents' phone plans. That's what we learned. Yeah. Maybe not you, but there's quite a few folks out there that are like that. And some people have no clue what they're paying.
Right.
And some people they're locked into the phone plan because their cell phone is paid through that phone plan as well. So there's a number of factors that we learned throughout this process. So get ready if you're like building a product, just get ready to iterate on the go-to-market. Where we landed in February of this year is we have 3 plans now. We have a free plan, free, like you get 3 gigs of data for free, talk and text, no gimmicks, no credit card needed, and it's easy to sign up. You just download the Helium mobile app and you're off and running. You get a phone number, you can port in a number, etc. Again, no like lock-in, no tricks. And we have a $15 plan and a $30 plan if you need more data and so forth. It works anywhere in the United States. Of course, if you want to travel, you can add on the travel pack and etc. This took a while to like percolate, I would say. So we launched in February. We saw some pickup, but not a lot of pickup. And we learned is that you got to like have a brand. People don't know Helium Mobile. And so it's hard for them to like trust that their phone will work. Even if it's free, it's sort of like skeptical. It's free, is it going to work? Is this not going to work?
Right.
Do I have coverage here? That skepticism is there because of a lack of branding. So if you're a founder, dude, listen to your marketing person and let them do some branding. You got to do that because no one knows who you are or trusts you,
right.
Especially with the phone plan.
Yeah.
And so we really took a lot of time to crack the nut on that. And once we cracked the nut on the brand and trust piece, I feel like the floodgates just started opening up. And so some stats for you all, if you're interested in stats. It's been over like a year now. And since February, the ramp has been crazy. And so we're running now about 2,000 new subscribers a day that we add on to using the network. For the month of April, we're like at 35,000 subscribers. And what does that mean? Well, when you compare that to AT&T, T-Mobile, or Verizon, we're like well ahead of AT&T and T-Mobile on acquiring new subscribers for a quarterly basis. So we'll be close to 100,000 if we continue this movement. And we'll be probably equal to Verizon and maybe beat them if we continue to grow at a faster clip. And so that's sort of like, to me, that's a lot of great like progress we've made. And people ask, was this product market fit? Like, is this like the moment? And I have to say, like, some of the indicators, yes, like when you start to see the spike of signups, which we have this dashboard internally, we just maniacally look at it. These bars keep going up, which is great. The other thing to look at is the support calls. Like, we have a fantastic support team. They're like 5 stars, but it's like 15, 20 people. And they were crushed in the month of April with all those new signups. We realized people signing up are not technical and they're not into crypto. They are regular people, and they call you or email you or chat with you for everything. Like, my phone won't turn on. Why? I'm like, oh geez, like, okay, maybe plug it in and charge it, or my like, Facebook app isn't opening. So we get all of those, and it's crazy. Like, then you kind of like, that's a moment. Then you has to click on and go, wait, this might be, I think we found product market fit. We're getting all kinds of regular people contacting us, which is fantastic. I love to see it. And the other thing we get is we get a lot of love letters. So one thing you should do is, in the early days as a founder, when you get customers, you should email them. Either you do it or you have AI generate emails saying thank you for being a customer, because you should be very grateful that they're willing to give you a shot. And it's amazing. We have regular people across the United States responding to our CEO's email, Amir's email, saying thank you so much for the service. You've helped me fix my budget. You've helped me save X amount of money. I can use that funds to go do something else important in my life. It's amazing to see.
So it sounds like being maniacal about the data, a feedback loop with the customer feedback, and then those love letters, personal touches,
I think
emails can, when you're finding that demand.
Yeah, and I know, and a lot of folks here are on the dev side. You're building great products. You have great ideas of solving great, important problems. But really, I think to take this, early adopter phase and using the effects of viral effects of customers to like, use word of mouth to talk about you. You really have to add that extra touch. And it could just be as easy as a text message or an email asking them how they're doing, how they like the service, thanking them.
That's great advice.
And that's all it takes. And I think that little touch tells the person that's trying your service, oh wow, you really do care. Yeah, I mean, it absolutely matters. Every single customer matters in early days. But every customer matters even when you blow up and you have product market fit. Then you got to be really good at engaging with that customer. But I think a number of those efforts, and it's not just one thing, it's a number of things. Like, we went down this path of trying to get non-tech mainstream adopters, so we focused maniacally on like the budget conscious audience, the frugal audience, or the money wise audience, across multiple social channels. We worked with tons of influencers. It's expensive, but it works.
Okay. And taking a step back at the network overall, and I guess I think of Helium Mobile as one use case. What are other examples of real world utility that you're seeing, and are there any that have been surprising or unexpected for you? Yeah,
I would say, like, on the IoT side, there's been several like surprising users. And by the way, just so folks know, when someone uses the Helium Network, it's fully encrypted and the devices are encrypted. And so unless the owners come and talk to us, we have no idea who's using it. And that's the whole point. It's a public network. It's available for everybody. And I remember, like, there's several instances of this. For example, Pacific Gas and Electric, which is a utility in California, they contacted us because they had questions about the network. And through that engagement, we learned that they were using the Helium IoT network for fire prevention. And there were like sensor companies like Torch, and they were heavily involved with the latest like LA fires that happened, that burned down several neighborhoods in Los Angeles. Their sensors were used not only for like fire detection, but also like chemicals and gas detection as a result. to make sure that the area is safe,
Yeah.
they contacted us because they're using the Helium Network. And we have like several agencies, federal agencies, that's related to agriculture, flooding, environmental sensors that use the Helium Network. And they'll call us or email us with questions and specifics related to technology and so forth. And that's when we kind of are able to talk to them, go, what are you doing here? Like, what are you trying to solve? Oh, we didn't realize you're using that. And that's like how we learn a lot about who's using the network.
Yeah.
So it's great to hear because basically everybody knows about the Helium Network as far as we can tell. It's vast from a global perspective. There's several cities in Portugal that's launched smart cities, all using the Helium Network.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool to see.
Okay, so smart cities, looking out 5 to 10 years, Helium's on the same trajectory. What does that look like either for telecom or for, what are you guys envisioning for what's next?
Yeah, I think like from a moving forward perspective, our focus is heavily on really the economics of telecommunications and cell service. So when we think about that 5 years from now, we hope that our hybrid approach, where we engage with the traditional legacy telcos, like T-Mobile and how we engage with them, and like AT&T. So AT&T uses the Helium Network as well. They offload, if you're an AT&T subscriber, wherever there's a Helium hotspot, there's a chance that you're going to use that Helium Network instead of the AT&T cell towers, especially inside, in an indoor environment. And that's like, for that to happen, it really requires AT&T to trust this decentralized effort, which is I wouldn't have believed this like 5 years ago. So hopefully 5 years from now, it's not just AT&T and our partners at T-Mobile, but it's everyone. It's every company out there, every color of phone service, phone plans, and hopefully it's global. It's not just United States and Mexico. Hopefully, it can be in Canada or Europe and Asia, and I hope that hybrid approach is realized globally.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Thank you. You've shared lots of great actionable advice for other DPIN founders and builders and marketers. So we really appreciate your time, and thank you for joining us on DWeb Decoded.
Thank you so much.